What is up, YouTube friends? Good morning. Another day at the Polderbaan. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. And yeah, it's basically a continuation of yesterday. The wind is similar to yesterday. 14 knot wind, 240 degrees. 12 knot wind according to the METAR. We have few clouds at 1,200 feet. Visibility on ground level 10 kilometers or more. A bit warmer than yesterday, 18 degrees already. And we have a wonderful show for you guys in store. First, let's look at the landing of TUI flight 379 arriving from Bonaire, Boeing 7878. Belgian registered, 8 years old, first flight January 2015. Now, as you guys can see, it is still windy and we're still on the edge of where it is sunny in the south and where it is cloudy and potentially a bit drizzly to the north. We've got a grand finale coming up. I think in total 5 747s before the A380 arrives. I believe 4 of them, if I looked correctly, 4 of them are expected around 12 to 1 p.m. So it's the final hour and a half of the stream that is going to be filled with quad-engined airplanes. The A380 today in the standard livery, the ribbon tail, the new standard livery, expected around 1:15, and the Orange Pride is also coming, and we have to pay attention especially to KLM flight 636. One of the viewers, Albert Ritmeester, is on board, arriving from not LAX, Las Vegas. I think he's expected around 11 a.m. He has a right-hand seat and he supposedly is sitting, I think it was row 23, somewhere over the wing on the right-hand side. So we might get to see a torch from him. Now there was also another flight incoming, another viewer coming to the Netherlands. Eddie will be on TUI flight 356 arriving from Curaçao. Now unfortunately that flight departed I think 5 hours or so later than the planned time, so I think he is expected around 2 o'clock, which will be too late unless of course they have significant tailwind underway. It looks like my chat window might be frozen. Let's try to fix that. I think now the messages are coming in again. Let me double check. I think no, the chat is not up to date, it looks like. Let's try that again. live chat. Let's see. Yeah, now I think I am. I think it works. Right, so good morning one and all. Now the viewers already in the chat. JD, Michelle, Dan, Haps, Valentijn, Peter, Sander, Marco, Liewe, Vinnie, René, Remco, Row Aviation, Jarno, Hans, the list goes on, M. Raamakers, Blissful Kitty, Marja, Ronald, Victor, Recon, Rick, Jinshin, JD, Paula, Edward, Paul, Lane, Wim, Remco, good morning one and all. Hope everybody is doing alright. Right, A321 from Vueling, arriving from Barcelona, coming in. An A320 Neo behind it from SAS, arriving from Oslo. Vueling in the old livery, it looks like, flight 8300. An 8-year-old airplane, had its first flight in May 2015. Now, since I arrived on the scene, I haven't seen the firefighters yet, so we might be in for a round of the firefighters later this morning. Let's have a look at the fire station, shall we? All quiet still. And there is the windsock. And indeed, Liewe, the ducks are still sleeping, looking in the water. It is all quiet over here. Now, I did see Russell as I was walking over here. Yeah, I did see him, but I don't see him anymore. He is around, that I know for sure. Hey Lasse, goedemorgen. Danny, goedemorgen, good morning. Justin, good morning. Jet Music, good morning, goedemorgen. Ha, Stalman, good morning. Wietse, goedemorgen. Big Al, good morning, you legend. Doing well, thank you for asking. Nice and warm, albeit a bit windy. Bono, good morning. Hey there, BZ10 pilot. Ah, okay, Sander did see something in the water. Yeah, I see it as well. Maybe ducks? Hard to see from over here. A320 Neo SAS arriving from Oslo. No Scandinavian butt shot today. Now, I think we have Russell or Cheryl over there. Yeah, he's letting us know that he's around, in case we hadn't noticed. Right, let's have a look. We're expecting a 737-800 from Ryanair up next. don't think well, I do see a spot of light visually. Oh, there. Had to aim a bit higher. Ryanair flight 2334 is what this should be, arriving from Malaga. 2 hours and 34 minutes of flight time under its belt right now. 16-year-old airplane, first flight March 2007. 799J4N, good morning. Dirk, goedemorgen. Erik, goedemorgen. Captain, Adjutant Infantry, Adibos, good evening. Good to see you again. Hey Marianne, goedemorgen. Oh, Big Al even saw Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal. Where did you spot him? I'm looking around. Think I'm not fully awake yet. Now, number 2 should be Delta Airlines flight 134. Although the path it is on flight radar makes me wonder, is it going to this runway or not? But I do see it now, just left of center. Hey Rick, goedemorgen. I love planes, goedemorgen. Ralf, goedemorgen. Leo, goedemorgen. Astrid Wolf, servus. Doing well, thank you for asking. Hope the same goes for you all. Airplanes, this is now almost directly into the wind. Hard to do that without any jitters. As you guys can see, we have a little bit of a breeze, as visualized by the chimney smoke blowing away from us. So, southwesterly wind. Also some agricultural activity going on over there. And our next airplane is Delta Airlines flight 134, Airbus A330-300. It is coming back. Oh no, I did see Steven. Just photobombing the shot momentarily. Delta Airlines flight 134 arriving from Detroit, Michigan. Airbus A330-300, as you guys can all see. Flight time at the moment 7 hours precisely. This is a 20-year-old airplane already. First flight January 2003. Days where you have to constantly fixate the tripod, otherwise the footage becomes too shaky, even with image stabilizer enabled. because they do have the potential to be very loud. And indeed, Paul, good weather to be sailing today. Plenty of wind. And Emiraatmaker is already informing us the arrival of the first 747, which is due in 40 minutes or so. Connie asks if I'm standing next to the Driemerenweg. Basically, yeah. Where you see those electricity masts is the road. You can even see some cars on the Driemerenweg. You can see the Driemerenweg even better over there. But what you need to do to reach this location is go to the Spottersplaats that is marked on Google Maps, and you'll end up at the parking lot, which is basically behind the traffic sign on the lantern. And then you have to walk over here. There's a cycling path over here, and if you follow that, you'll arrive over here. Right, visualization of the glide slope. We have two airplanes on it at the moment. In the foreground, EasyJet arriving from Birmingham, A319. Behind it, a Boeing 737-800 from KLM arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Hey Donald, good evening. Tiger, good morning. Not sure if I said hi already. And I think that the DJ mic is very sensitive to the wind as well. It is also pointing outward, so if I put my face in the direction of the wind, the microphone gets a full blast of it, and I think it impedes the quality of my voiceover sound. So thinking about maybe also trying the lavalier mic once again, which I could stick under the cap of my hat and face towards me, so should not be in the wind as much. Although the voiceover sounds so much more clear when you use the DJI mic directly, such as today. Hey Wilma, goedemorgen. I hope it stays dry as well. I did bring umbrellas along, and I hope that the same effect as yesterday will occur, that having umbrellas with me will prevent me from needing them. Dave, goedemorgen, good morning. Kobe en Jan, goedemorgen. Vinay, Teslicious, good morning. Good to see you all. More crabbing. It's going to be a crabby show. That's with a B, not with a P. Alrighty, hey Ricardo, Ronald, Irene, Igor, good morning. Good morning to you all, privet. Rafa Pilot, good morning. It's 777 time, folks. China Southern Cargo, flight 2579. arriving from China from Chongqing, which I probably totally mispronounced. Hey Flip, goedemorgen. Goedenavond, goedemiddag. What is it? Probably late afternoon in New Zealand. This is a 777 freighter, 10 hours and 22 minutes underway. It is brand new, and that always means less than a year old on flight radar. First flight of this airplane was in May this year, so less than half a year old. Avond, oké. Goedenavond Flip, welkom. Let go of the tripod and the wind will blow it to the left. Zampon, good morning. Alright, now if you said, hey, that's a nice airplane, I want to see more of airplanes like these, you're in for a treat. It's double triple time, the second 777 in a row. Coming next. Arriving from New York JFK, this is KLM flight 644. It is a 777-300ER. Has been flying now for 6 hours and 22 minutes. The airplane is 6 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in September 2017. Hey Hassan, morning. Two fellas over here on the cycling path. Watching it in real life, going down. Tatjana, privet, good morning. And HK215 representing New York City. Or are you just talking about the airplane? Hey there Mojave, morning. This image stabilizer also interfering a little bit. Both, okay. The airplane from New York City and HK also representing NYC. Terrific. What a coincidence, perfect timing then. And my pleasure, Renee. Lovely morning. Visibility seems to be improving. I see two airplanes in the distance and it looks like it's opening up a little bit. Or is it? Is it just my eyes deceiving me? Well, we see a Flying AMS Live logo coming in, and that would be Air Canada Flight 900, arriving from Montreal 5 hours and 58 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 8 years old. First flight December 2014. Boeing 7878. Got a Vueling A320 behind it in the top left corner. That is coming in from Bilbao in the north of Spain. FJWH, good morning. Servus Peppy. Michael, good morning. Houston, Texas, so you're up early or still up late? The same goes for HK. Though Houston, I think, is 1 or 2 more hours of time difference compared to New York. Hey Maxine, good morning, goedemorgen. Giggles Constantine, good morning. Frits, goedemorgen. Alrighty. 2 crabbing airplanes on their way over here. In the foreground, A320 Vueling arriving from Bilbao, and behind it is another 777-300 arriving from Johannesburg, KLM. Vueling in the foreground, flight 8354. Flight time 1 hour and 44 minutes. An Airbus A320 that is 12 years old. First flight was in April 2011. Hey there, Preacher, good morning. Was K3 moving in the other direction. Which is also what we are going to do. Plodding through the freshly cut grass. Good thing it's a 4x... Well, is it a 4x4? I'm assuming it is. Or is it... Are those Raptor Rangers 4x4 or... This is KLM flight 592 arriving from Johannesburg. Saw yesterday, but still very nice. Martin, goedemorgen. And not necessarily more wind than yesterday, Frits. Although it does feel like it is definitely windy, but then again, so it did yesterday. Nice dramatic arrival of another A330 Turkish. Flight 1951 arriving from Istanbul. Flight time 3 hours and 5 minutes. A330-300, 11 years old. First flight April 2012. Well, Blissful Kitty, you'd be surprised how many 4x4s are on the road over here in the Netherlands, despite its flatness with the exception of Limburg. Oh wow. Oh, I spoke too soon. I was about to say a moment of little wind following the airplane smoothly once again, but jinxed it. Never say such things out loud. Butt shot, Turkish butt shot. Here you go, folks. First butt shot of the day, and a heavy at that. Hey there, Scott, good morning. Indeed, a queen is due in 30 minutes, and if you just tuned in, we're due for 5 queens in total. I think the last 4 will arrive in the hour before or around the arrival of the A380. The A380 expected around 1:15 p.m. local time, and I think 4 queens expected between 12 and 1 or 11 and 12. I don't know for sure anymore the exact times of arrival, but Mark, good morning, goedemorgen. Gosse, goedemorgen, kerel. Oh, good morning. Hey, Jerry. Have you seen the new glide slope shot emoji already, Jerry? This is the moment to use it. 3 airplanes on the glide slope, what a shot. DGS, guten Morgen, tuning in from Stuttgart. E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Prague in the Czech Republic. And apologies that the camera is bouncing up and down and left and right. Operating the camera on windy days as today can be a bit challenging, to say the least. Nicely slowed down and all. Willem FS, good morning. It is another crabby day, at least the morning. Not sure what the afternoon is going to bring, but the morning, absolutely. Another 777 coming in. Behind it is an A330 from Delta. Delta 474. Last couple of days been flown in an A330, not the A350 that we have seen so often before. Madeira Aviation Spotting, good morning. Thomas, good morning. Where's it, Thomas? Yeah, Thomas Gilden, that sounds British. Thomas it is. Well, happy that you barely notice it, Peter, but I am somewhat perfectionistic, so I see every little unevenness. But yeah, I'm not standing inside this mount. This tripod works a treat when there's no wind. And I don't have to enable image stabilizer, which also overshoots horizontally and vertically. But you would see the difference. I tried it yesterday. It's a very obvious difference if you disable image stabilizer. So we have to keep that on. That's for sure. There's still the wind also interacting with the big surface area of the camera, the mic, the phone on it. Oh, oké, Thomas. Thomas dan. A330 followed by a 777. Airlines flight 74 in the foreground, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, Airbus A330-300. Flight time 8 hours 4 minutes. The airplane is 7 years old, relatively young. First flight was in May 2016. Got a little wheelie and the reversers were used, so double whammy. Hey Danny, goedemorgen. Rudolf, goedemorgen. En Sa, good morning. Let's quickly turn back. Air Canada flight 808 is up next. Arriving from Toronto, crabbing its way over the glide slope to the threshold. Flight time 6 hours and 34 minutes. 777-200 long range, 15 years old. First flight January 2008. And look at the last minute corrections. Crabbing until the very last moment before yawing the airplane back straight. Right, next up, Air Transat A321neo. But first, a big thank you to Jerry for gifting 10 AMS Live memberships, no less than 10. Thank you so much for that, Jerry. I appreciate it immensely. Really is not necessary, but thank you nonetheless. Congratulations to all 10 new AMS Live members. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. And Jerry, once again, a big thank you for gifting 10 memberships. Now, folks, don't forget to like the show if you are enjoying this. And if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon so that you get notifications whenever I go live again. And look at that, you can even see when they throttle up, puffs of exhaust smoke. Look closely and you'll see it. Yesterday we didn't see any go-arounds. I'm curious to see if maybe today we will. Air Transat arriving from Toronto, A321neo. Nearly 7 hours of flight, 6 hours 54 minutes. Brand new airplane, really brand new. First flight August this year, so it's still under warranty. So even with brand new engines, you can still see the exhaust smoke plumes when they play with the throttle, which on days like today you really have to. It's constantly correcting. Throttle up, throttle down, left, right, up, down. I Love Planes says that KLM turned 104 today. I think that calls for a special livery. Congratulations, KLM. Now the KLM 100 year special livery, the Dreamliner 10, already landed earlier in the morning. And man, good evening. Back in Brisbane, down under. Good to see you again, mate. Hope all is well. Right, the next airplane is an A320neo from British Airways, arriving from London Heathrow. Flight 430. A little tippy-toey. Bouncing a bit. But a safe landing is a good landing. Any safe landing is a good landing. A British butt shot. In 3, 2, 1. There you go. Morning, Kevin. BN Dutch. Georgios. SLDKJH. Good morning. Benny, goedemorgen. Right. The next airplane is Starom A318, arriving from Bucharest, flight 361. Flight time 2 hours and 41 minutes. Good morning, Giovanni. Alan, good morning. Levi, goedemorgen. Next up, A320neo, arriving from London Gatwick. Tiger says that in a few Emirates cargo will land. I see it on flight radar on the top end of my little postage stamp size screen. First up will be an Embraer 190 from KLM arriving from Berlin. And before that, a big thank you to Jason for gifting 5 AMS Live memberships. Thank you so much for that, Jason. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Those 5 new AMS Live members. Jason, once again, thank you so much. Hanuman, good morning, good afternoon. Tuning in from New Delhi. Keep up the good work. Cheers, man, he says. Thank you so much. Doing the best I can, glad you're enjoying, hope everybody is. Let's quickly go back to the camera, have a look. Small Embraer 191st, big triple after that. And on days like today, it is particularly nice to see so many small Embraers. They have to struggle harder, but at least it looks like they always have to struggle harder battling crosswind. So that makes for more interesting viewing, in my opinion at least. Little butt shot, just quick. Hey there Stephen, good morning. Tuning in from Dundee in Scotland. Keep up the good work mate, he says. We'll definitely do that. Thank you for tuning in. Glad you're enjoying the show. Appelstroop, goedemorgen. That is so unfortunate, Jerry. Don't you hate it when the liquor store has no Jaeger on glide slope day? So I'm assuming you bought vodka instead then. While filming, I'm also doing a little bit of experimentation to see if there is a method that I can apply to get particularly this part of the movement more smooth. So I'm just trying different things, see if something works. Get things a bit more smooth. Got two airplanes crabbing over here. First up, Croatia Airlines arriving from Zagreb, A319. Behind it, a 777-200 arriving from Cartagena. KLM flight 747, which of course is not a Boeing 747. Okay, what's going on? I don't have the time to look at flight radar, but the Suparna 747 is doing strange things. I think there is a Croatian butt shot potentially coming in. There is. Peter PTK, good morning. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. Benny says he's going to Amsterdam and then going to the north. That sounds like a normal procedure. Go to Amsterdam, then turn north, then turn west, and then turn south. So it's flying downwind by the sound of it. Yeah, it's flying downwind, going base in a few minutes, right. This is KLM flight 747 arriving from Cartagena, Boeing 777-200, and man, I'm now in standard image stabilizer. After this airplane has landed fully, I'm going to switch it to dynamic, see if maybe that mitigates the vibrations further. Yeah, but that's not uncommon, Sander, going almost over the center of Amsterdam. I've seen that happen several times before. That can happen. Alright, so switched to dynamic image stabilizer. Hopefully that works a bit better. Got another airplane coming in. I was about to check the new METAR, but look, already posted it, so let me just copy paste it into the ticker. Was already thinking about doing the same. See what the wind is doing. 15 knot wind, 240 degrees, variable between 200 and 260. Oh. Hey Wendy, goedemorgen. Embraer 190 arriving from London City. That doesn't seem to have helped a bit, regardless of the mode of image stabilizer. Then this part goes smoothly. That was the same. Then here. It becomes challenging again. Michael, good morning. Good to see you, man. Hope all is well. Did you make it in time for your doctor's appointment yesterday? Alrighty, the first Queen, number 2, preceded by an A320neo from EasyJet. Which is arriving from Jersey. Flight of an hour and 2 minutes. It's on the ground. Ah, that's good news, Michael. Basically being done, with the exception of one more appointment. So you'll be training for a marathon soon then. Congrats, man. Nelson, buen dia. Tuning in from Argentina, where it is still very early in the morning, 5:35 a.m. Mike Wild, good morning. So yeah, it's one of those days where you just set the frame and then lock the tripod again, because otherwise the footage becomes too shaky. The first queen of the day, ladies and gentlemen, arriving from Nanjing, Suparna Airlines. Flight 87413. The airplane underway for 10 hours and 50 minutes. The airplane itself, 32 years old, ladies and gentlemen. First flight was in August 1991. Where were you back then? What were you doing? Brief moment of little wind, allowed for a smooth tracking of the airplane as it landed. Beautiful. And also in the sound department, not disappointing at all. Blackbird, good morning. Hey there, Mousy, good morning. Begum, good morning. Pascal, good morning. And as Her Majesty is vacating the runway behind me, a 737-800 from KLM is making its way over, arriving from Paris, Charles de Gaulle. Lufthansa arriving from Frankfurt behind it. Nice reflection of the sun in the on the livery. Nice and shiny lady. Now, the water is still calm. Well, the water itself not, but in terms of animal inhabitation, what's the proper word? Not inhabitation. Or is it? Man, I need some coffee. They're inhabitants. It's not inhabitation. What's the word I'm looking for, folks? KLM flight 1228, 737-800. Martijn, goedemorgen. Hey Danny, goedemorgen. Tuning in from sunny Bruges. Two airplanes coming up. In the foreground, A320 Lufthansa arriving from Frankfurt behind it. 737-800 arriving from Preveza, Transavia. Hey, good morning, Silvio. Tuning in from the warm Algarve in Portugal. Well, it's not cold over here either. 19 degrees Celsius, so nearly 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Which for the beginning of October is definitely not bad. It's just that it's a bit windy today. But that's not the end of the world. Laney, good evening, tuning in all the way from New Zealand. Now Richard, goedemorgen, tuning in from a little bit closer by, Rotterdam. And I think that is Russell, hovering, touching down. Russell or Cheryl, either one of the two. Transavia 737-800 arriving from Preveza. Transavia flight 5792. Flight time 2 hours and 48 minutes. The airplane 6 years old. First flight was in April 2017. En Connie, groetjes terug aan Hans. Hans is enjoying the show a lot. H-Man asks if I will be there this afternoon. 747, the KLM 747 is landing. I will be here until the A380 has landed. I'm not sure if the KLM 747 is one of those that will arrive before it. But even a bit of blue sky, and there is a quad engine flying. I think it might be going to Frankfurt. Northwest to southeast, already east and a little bit still to the north of me. So yeah, we did have clouds in the north early in the morning. Now it's still not fully blue, but looking all around me, have a look, mostly blue sky. Bit of high clouds in the distance. It is a bit hazy, it seems like, the sky, but all in all, mostly blue. It's just that pesky wind. You can see it ripple in the water. Ah, thank you, Alan. Lufty, Boston to Frankfurt. And Fritz, thank you too. 68 Twig, good morning. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. Alright, 2 airplanes on the glide slope. Beautiful glide slope shot. Hey Jackie, goedemorgen. In the foreground we have EasyJet arriving from Berlin, A320 behind it. Air Malta, A320 Neo arriving from Malta. Now this airplane has been flying for an hour. Berlin, not too far away. This A320 is 8 years old. Ooh. Applying some of the reverse thrust. EasyJet butt shots coming in. Air Malta, A320 Neo arriving from Malta. Hey there, Sponge. Good morning. Air Malta Flight 394, Airbus A320neo, arriving from Malta. Flight time 2 hours and 51 minutes. Brand new airplane. Started flying in February of this year, so just over half a year old. Next, 2 airplanes visible. Lufthansa A319 arriving from Munich, 737 from KLM arriving from London Heathrow behind it. And we have a CRJ passing over, going to Copenhagen. Mario, goedemorgen. En het is een beetje winderig inderdaad. A bit windy indeed, André. Just a little bit. Little tippy-toey. Right, 2 airplanes up next. 737-700 KLM, London Heathrow to Amsterdam in the foreground. KLM Embraer 190 arriving from Geneva behind it. Got an E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Copenhagen behind it. Can we see it already? I'm not seeing it yet. Now folks, if you just tuned in, welcome to the show. Another day of crosswindy arrivals over here at Schiphol Airport. We're standing at runway 18 right, the Polderbaan, currently the only runway in use for arrivals. Wind is blowing from the southwest, the airplanes are flying from north to south. We're expecting 4 more 747s before the A380. The A380 itself today expected around 1 p.m. with 1:15 p.m. The KLM 777 Orange Pride is also coming in this morning. And if all goes well, KLM flight 636 from Las Vegas to Amsterdam should contain Albert Ritmeester on row 23, so we might get a torchy arrival. I'm hoping that the wind will stay approximately blowing from the same direction tomorrow. Tomorrow Yunus is coming back from the United States. That's the legend who lit up that Delta A330 a couple of weeks ago like a Christmas tree from business with 3 torches back to back. He's coming back tomorrow from Seattle. I'm hoping that the wind will not change dramatically so that the landing will take place on this runway. Kaagbaan is a bit hard to reach these days due to roadblocks. They're working on the roads over there. Embraer 190 arriving from Geneva. butt shot to boot. HK has to go. If you're still around, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Hope to see you again soon. E2 Embraer 195, and it will be followed by a 777. The E2 arriving from Copenhagen, flight 1126. Airplane is 2 years old. First flight April 2021. And that is a... oh, I was about to say a no reverser landing. Teensy little bit of reverse thrust being applied. Let's quickly lock it up again. Alright, butt shot coming in. Have a look at these engines. You can see right through them. Geared turbofan, high bypass. Still, well, with the right lighting conditions you can almost see immediately. Yeah, there you go. You can almost see right through them. Let's quickly turn back to the north. Look at that, 777 arriving from Cape Town, 777-300ER in the SkyTeam livery. Nice and silvery, nice and shiny, KLM flight 598. Flight time of this flight, 11 hours and 18 minutes thus far. A 14-year-old airplane that had its first flight in August 2009. Bit bumpy. But any safe landing is a good landing. Obviously, the suspension on these machines is superb. Captain Rough Robbie, Frank says. Mario, guten Morgen. Herzlich willkommen. All right. Two more airplanes coming up in the foreground. Aegean A321 arriving from Athens. Behind it, KLM flight 636 containing Albert Litmeester, row 23, right hand side seat. Should be seated somewhere in the, over the wing. I think he said the latter part of the part that's over the wing. Hopefully the wing tip will not block the view. First up, Aegean, Airbus A321. Alrighty. And that is exactly the saying I was meaning to say, Michael. I figure you guys figured that. Right, now let's see if we can see a torch of any sort in the vicinity of the wing. We're also seeing the first airplane to runway center on flight radar. Right, Dreamliner arriving from Las Vegas, KLM flight 636. Well, hard for me to see. Did you guys see anything? Okay, so there was a light. Nice. I'll have to look it back in the rerun. Those are so small and my screen is small too. So it's very hard for me to see. Only Yunus with his 3, and that was during the beginning. During takeoff, so the pass by was not that fast. That I saw immediately. In the meantime, Catherine, good morning and thank you so much for gifting a membership. Heinz, congratulations, you were gifted a membership by Catherine. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Catherine, once again, thank you so much for a gifted membership. Okay, so you guys did see the light. Excellent. Well, that was Albert Ritmeester coming back from Las Vegas. He did reach out to me in the comments below one of the streams of last week. You guys can look it back. Now also, Eddie is coming from Curaçao on TUI flight 356, but that is was delayed. I think the ETA is now 2 p.m. so I already let him know that I probably am not going to be around then for the landing, but he will be in the front of the airplane, row 3. This is Delta Airlines flight 163, Airbus A330-300 arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Moment of calm wind, you can see the airplane following is much smoother immediately. Nice audio. Meanwhile, Peter, goedemorgen, tuning in from South Africa, likes the show. Thank you for the compliment. I'm glad you're enjoying and I hope everybody is, of course. Dirk, goedemorgen, tuning in from Cologne. De Sparta Rotterdam, goedemorgen. Alright. Let's have a look, see what is next. A319. EasyJet arriving from Edinburgh, and behind it is going to be another A319 arriving from Milan. Just barely visible in the top left. Was trying to see if maybe I had a moment to update the ticker. Runway usage has changed. Parallel arrivals at the moment. Runway center has also opened up again. lift window from the back of the wing, Big Al says. That's exactly what Albert also wrote in his message. Over the wing, a little bit to the back. So that was Albert waving then. Let me see. Quick moment to update the ticker. Runway 18C now also being used. Can I make it to also update the meter? Knot wind it has become. Yesterday the peak during my stream was 18 with gusts to 28. No mentioning of gusts in the meter yet, but we do have a 19 knot crosswind, 240 degrees. There you go. Has landed safely. And doesn't the Azzurro look beautiful? Now we have a banana coming in. Not immediately. I think it is number 2. Is that number 2 or is that number 1? I think that is number 1. Right, the next airplane to arrive will be British Airways, operated by BA Euroflyer. Don't see the difference, it looks like British Airways to me. Flight 2824, A320 arriving from London Gatwick. Flight time 38 minutes, nothing out of the ordinary. 20-year-old airplane, first flight October 2002. A300, 600 from DHL, arriving from Madrid. Number 2, just left of center. Nice visualization of the glide slope. We get to see 2 consecutive A300s, 2 DHL bananas, numbers 2 and 3. The first yellow plane arriving from Madrid, the second one from London Heathrow. First, this little bird arriving from London Gatwick. Hey there, Paul. Good morning. Juan. Buenos dias. Well, the sky has become mostly blue, as you guys can see. This is looking to the north, looking to the east, looking to the south. Looking to the west, I see a police helicopter over there. On patrol. So visibility in all directions perfectly fine. And here is the first A300 arriving from Madrid. Tom, goedemorgen. Right, next up, Airbus A300-600 arriving from London Heathrow. Now let's have a look. The airplane we saw land just now, 28 years old, first flight March 1995. The airplane that is coming right now is 29 years old, a little bit older. First flight February 1994. Harry asks about my laptop. I have a MacBook M1, but any laptop will do. Laptop is the least important bit of the whole chain, I think. Hey, Mr. Master. Morning. Where did I get that sunshine from? Well, I wrote a nice letter to the people in sunny countries asking if they maybe could spare some sunshine for poor old Netherlands. Are you trying to say, Rick, that in the north you guys are having clouds? I thought when the sun shines in this area of the country, the entire country would be basking in sunshine. Nah, but we did see the clouds to the north in the beginning of the stream. It has opened up over here a little bit. Not sure how long it's going to stay that way. Banana butt. The airplane even being too wide to see in full extent when fully zoomed in. Leventa has plenty of sunshine over in Arizona. Well, if you could FedEx some sunshine, we're always in for more. Although you can keep your warm temperatures, those we can do without. That is probably a bit too excessive. Hey Morgan Gisela, good to see you again. And Ramka's Place says it's overcast in Denmark, so that's what you have in common with the Danes then, Rick. Overcast weather. Embraer 190 arriving from Norwich up next, KLM flight 1516. Short flight, 34 minutes, 9-year-old airplane. First flight January 2014. Iberia Express coming up next, gliding to the runway threshold. Meanwhile, I see a very nice super sticker from Gisela, character appearing from behind a cloud saying hiya. Thank you so much for that, Gisela. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. Let me quickly go back. The Iberia Express. And you can see how they have to crab until the very last moment. Then use the rudder to get the nose wheel in line with the runway. So we already saw 1747, got 4 more to go if I counted correctly, and that is excluding any that might have taken off in the meantime from nearby airfields, such as Paris or something. The A380 today expected around 1:15 p.m. Standard livery, but it is the latest iteration of the standard livery, so it has the ribbon tail that AMS Live members also have access to as an emoji. Ooh. And look at them work. Work it, baby. Arriving from Geneva, A320neo. First one, then the other gear. Nicely done. Very nicely done. A bit wobbly, but a good landing nonetheless. Now, next up, JetBlue. It is flight 631 that began flying between Amsterdam and Boston on September 21st, if I recall correctly. It was on a Thursday, I believe it was the 21st. A321neo, flight time 6.5 hours. A 2-year-old airplane had its first flight in November 2020. There's no denying that the pilots flying today have to do a bit of work. I'm pretty sure that most of them will thoroughly enjoy it. JetBlue butts coming in. Morning, very short clips. Anna, goedemorgen. Probably will be here tomorrow morning. Let's see. Interesting. figured they would do that. Runway 27 has opened up as a secondary runway in favor of 18 center. So let me go to the laptop once again, update the ticker. Runway 27 now, due to the windy conditions. Secondary runway for arrivals. Are they still using 2 runways for departures or just the Kaagbaan? Let's be thorough and correct. Yeah, still 2. Okay. Oh, and LVNL is behind. Says that center is still open as runway for arrivals, but let's have a look in the north. 777 also coming. Is that number 2 already? Let's have a look. Yeah, no. Number 3 will be a 777. Got an Embraer 190 arriving from Brussels first. Behind it, 737-800 arriving from Birmingham. Mind you, the pilots landing on runway 27 still have crosswind. Wind is not blowing exactly from the west, so either runway has crosswind. I do believe that the crosswind component right now on this runway is the biggest. Now, if 27 is the secondary runway for arrivals later in the day as well, that does not bode well for our ability to see the A380, and I think also a couple of the 747s that are expected. I think most of them, if not all of them, all remaining, will be arriving from the east, so that does not bode very well. Let me see if I can show you what you can see from over here. Luckily visibility is good, but yeah, this is what you see from over here. Airplanes landing to runway 27. So yeah, you can see an airplane. You can definitely make out an A380 once it arrives, but let's hope they go back to 18C by the time the A380 comes to the Netherlands. 737-800 arriving from Birmingham. Right, let's have a look. 777 time. KLM flight 696, 777-200ER, arriving from Toronto. Flight time at the moment 6 hours and 24 minutes. The airplane 19 years old, first flight October 2003. Captain SL says 747 due in 25 minutes. Where's it coming from? I think therein lies your answer to which runway it is going to go to. Right, let's quickly turn back. A330 time, KLM flight 767. Coming home from Bonaire. And we might get to see an Embraer 190 in the background coming in from the left. Arriving from Aberdeen. It is flying base. I'm not sure if we are able to pick it up from over here. It's probably lower. Looks like it is turning towards the localizer. Let's check again. Not seeing it. It's too far to the north. Maybe there are also some clouds in between obscuring the view. So let's focus on the crabbiness of the A330. Felt that we had a moment of calmness in the wind. So let's try and do a close-up shot of the cockpit. Hey Yorkshire, good morning. Good to see you. Alan says 747 just east of you, moving to the west, Frankfurt LAX. I'm looking up. Not seeing anything moving west. Definitely not a quad that I can recognize. Oh, what is this? Oh, that's virtual look or something. I'm doing well, Paul, thank you for asking. Now, somebody mentioned something about a 747 and a glide slope. I'm checking flight radar as we speak to see, but is there isn't any in the vicinity, is there? Where's the next 747 coming from? Will it be going to this runway? If it is coming from the east, probably not. Alright, the next airplane crabbing its way over here. KLM flight 1442, Embraer 190, arriving from Aberdeen. Has been flying for 56 minutes now. 14-year-old airplane that had its first flight in November 2008. Benny says Silkway on the way. That is probably arriving from the east then, isn't it? Where is it? Has it taken off from a nearby airfield in the meantime? Is this a bonus 747? Alan says another 747 is going to fly over Amsterdam City. Moving east to west. I think I see one. That is on its way, it looks like, to Frankfurt, and it is a quad engine. It's not a very thick fuselage, probably a 747. Looking also at the angle of the wings, more backward. Most likely a 747. Shaky footage, that's the wind. Not my caffeine withdrawal or anything. Right, little detour to the sky. Now more back to ground level. E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Lyon. KLM flight 1414. Looks like a very smooth landing, as if there were no crosswind. Ah, 340. Now I was just checking the meter and Flight Radar still has the old meter. Where are you getting your meters from, Luke? Always when I try to look for the meter, it's always 10 minutes later that they publish it, if not longer. Hey there Jordan, good morning. Han, goedemorgen. Embraer 190 arriving from Dublin, KLM flight 934. Right, so where can I find the METARs immediately after they have been published? Navigraph. What is Navigraph? Well, no time for me to check that out now. Let's have a look. This is EasyJet A319 arriving from London Luton, and we have a 777 arriving from Curaçao behind it. So could you guys let me know in the chat where to get the METARs from immediately after they are published? I'm still looking for a source that is more quick than Flight Radar. In the meantime, we are looking at KLM Flight 736, Boeing 777-300ER arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. I have to lock everything in place, otherwise the wind will keep moving the camera. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight March 2015, flight time 8 hours and 34 minutes. Bloody hell. Well, I'm happy to see that at least the laptop and the tent and everything is still standing. It is a little bit breezy. Delta A330 up next. Flight 136. A330-300 arriving from Detroit, Michigan. The airplane is 16 years old. First flight November 2006. Arriving from Detroit, Michigan. Flight time has been 6 hours and 50 minutes thus far. There's a 777 behind it, arriving from Vancouver. Also crabbing its way over here. Nice shot of the glide slope. Subtle wheelie. Nose gear was dropping. I thought it was going to touch the ground, but then it halted. Stealthy wheelie. Unfortunately not the loudest landing, but there you go. Back to the action. KLM Flight 682 up next, 777-300ER arrival from Vancouver, Canada. The airplane has been flying now for 8 hours and 17 minutes. 7-year-old airplane, first flight made 2016. Okay, matertough.com. I think I checked that one. Isn't that with visualization and all? They also sometimes are delayed 10 minutes or so. Maybe this is a different link. You have that dashboard on the website. Let's see if I have a moment to have a look on the website. I think we might. Well, thank you Luc and thank you Paul. New effort to update the ticker then. Where was that link? Oh, I cannot click it over here. Right, well at least now we have, yeah exactly Luke, I had the same thing. Looking at it, delayed for 5 minutes or so. Now 5 minutes is better than 10 minutes, as is the case with flight radar sometimes. Alan mentioning that there's a Silkway 747 number 4 for runway 27. Let me see if maybe I can show that later. First, a struggling Embraer 190 arriving from Newcastle. Flight 954. That's what you get when you release the camera momentarily. And that was, I think, an overcorrection of the image stabilizer, which is why I really don't like using it whenever possible. And then this up and back and forth thing is definitely the wind. Let's go back to standard image stabilizer. I think the dynamic is a bit too aggressive at moments, and this is letting go of the camera with the locks unlocked. The wind just grabs hold of the camera and moves it to the right when I want it to stay on the left, and vice versa. Hey there Mirza, who is tuning in from Pakistan, all the way from Karachi. Welcome to the show. Now, air traffic going to runway 2 center. This is what you can see of it from over here. So we should be able to see a 747 in a moment. Before that, let's turn back to the north. See what's cooking on our side of the airfield. German Airways Embraer 190 flying for KLM Flight 1060 arriving from Cardiff. They knew that the sun was shining, so they put the sunglasses on. Big Al, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. See you soon. Probably the Transavia now flying over Amstelveen. So behind this airplane, the 747 should be. I think I have it. It is still very far away. Looking, it is flying in the vicinity of Muiderslot, so that is a ton away. But yes, it is still there. Magical zoom. So this is how many kilometers away? Incredible. I never thought I would be able to see it from over here. There you go. All the way just east of Amsterdam still. Silkway West, flight 209, Boeing 747-400. Flight time 4 hours and 53 minutes. 747-400 freighter, 23 years old. First flight September 2000. Indeed, now above Diemen. I used to live in the vicinity over there until a year ago. The airplanes would always fly nearly over my house when 27 was open. Hey there, Swaley, bon dia. Now, still far out, but this not so much. So let's first have a look at this landing. Transavia arriving from Malaga. What is up next? Let's have a look. 737-800, Embraer 175. Dreamliner 10 arriving from LAX. Silkway 747, much better visible right now. Arriving from Baku. Nearly 5 hours of flight under its belt. 23 years old, first flight September 2000. Interesting that with the wind, the kite, the bird, the scarecrow bird on a rope is not flying. Right, and this is where we're going to lose the airplane behind everything. Erik, ik heb nog geen plannen. No plans yet. I've looked into the offering a couple of weeks ago, but haven't booked anything yet. But one thing I can tell you with certainty, it is going to go down again come skiing season. But let's first see if snow is going to fall. I think the Alps in general have had warm weather, or maybe are still having warm weather. Kein Neuschnee in Innsbruck schon, oder Peppy? If he is still watching. And Jippe, that's a good question. I think as long as the wind direction and speed will not change, runway 27 is going to stay open. In fact, if the wind is becoming more westerly, it might even become the primary runway for arrivals, because the crosswind might be too much for a lot of the airplanes. I'm not sure. When it really gets stormy, they switch over to landing on the Schiphol Oostbaan, runway 22. Take off from 24 and 27, and also sometimes land on 27. In the meantime, 777 departing to China. But we aren't going to be able to follow it for too long. Dreamliner 10 arriving from LAX, KLM flight 604. Dreamliner 10s are mighty long. They don't look that long when you see them from the front. And I have the same with the 777-300. They're also extremely long. Oh wow, over 60 feet of snow in the west. That's probably on par, if not more, than in Colorado. And I believe that the snow in Japan, aren't they calling that champagne snow? Isn't that supposedly the best snow in the world? Dry, crispy, powdery, perfect snow. Sounds enticing. Then again, going to Japan just for a winter sport vacation might be a bit overkill. Unless in a few years AMS Live has turned into something really, really big, of course. Then again, if that happens, we could also do some spotting at Haneda or Narita and other airports over there. This is KLM flight 988 coming in from London City, Embraer 190, 38 minutes of flight. 5-year-old airplane, first flight February 2018. Well, I've been to Japan once, Michael. I had a wonderful time. I've been to Tokyo for a week back in 2016 and thoroughly enjoyed the experience. Definitely got a tasting for more. The rest of the country still unexplored by me. So who knows? Business trip, mixing business with pleasure is always a good thing. Be smart about it. Got another Dreamliner coming in. But before that, let me go back to the laptop and say a big thank you to Mitchell. Good morning, first of all. And thank you so much for your super chat. Mitchell writes, good morning, everyone. Just got off a busy night of work. How are we all doing? Well, speaking for myself, a bit windy, but otherwise very good, mate. Same conditions as yesterday. Very comparable. Well, maybe even a bit more windy, since now also runway 27 is open instead of 18 center. Then again, the sun is shining more abundantly and it was a bit warmer already early in the morning than yesterday, a couple of degrees. I'm having a blast over here. Hope you guys do too. If you do like what you're seeing, give the show a like please, and if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing. Make sure that when you do, to hit the bell icon. That way you get notified whenever I go live again for more live streaming action from the ever-bustling Schiphol Airport. Now, Delta A330 up next, flight 164, arrival from Minneapolis, Minnesota. It looks so serene. The airplane has been flying now for 7 hours and 20 minutes. 19-year-old airplane, first flight March 2004. Frank mentioning the Colombian marching powder. Well, I'm sure that in Colombia they have such big quantities that you could also make a mountain and ski off it if you really wanted to. Or if you have a look in the ports of Rotterdam and Antwerp, see how many get seized these days. All jokes aside, I do know that there are ski resorts in South America as well. Obviously, being on the southern hemisphere, you would have to go there in the summer over here on the northern hemisphere. Did look into that once. Actually, not that easy to find tour operators or anything that offer holidays to those locations. I think it's something you have to arrange yourself. At least we have some tour operators that are offering skiing trips in Canada and the United States, but I think it is too much of a niche market, not commercially viable. Although, if global warming continues, who knows? We might also be doing our summer holidays. We might be spending our summer holidays in Scandinavia then too. Going to all different kinds of destinations. Alright, Liewe gaat even verkassen. Moving about. Hope to see you later. If not, then probably tomorrow or next week. Embraer 175. Arriving from Darlington, RT side. KLM flight 1534. Flight time 48 minutes. Wasn't the the Orange Pride coming in from Panama or something today? Or Atlanta? Atlanta or Panama, I think. Shouldn't it also arrive anytime now? Right, Corendon Airlines up next. Flight 611, 737. And looks like it's a relocation flight coming in from Maastricht in the south of the Netherlands. Ah, thanks Luc. ETA of the Orange Pride 40 minutes. Thanks for the update. Relocation flight, it looks like. Or Corendon has begun moving people from Maastricht in the south of the Netherlands to Schiphol and back and forth. We did used to have, I think City Hopper used to fly between Maastricht and Amsterdam, didn't they? At some point. Couldn't you also take the airplane to Groningen at some point? Hey there Walter, tuning in from Africa. Welcome. Colin, goedemorgen. Good to see you. Hope everybody is doing alright over here. It's a bit windy, as you guys can probably tell. It is otherwise mostly sunny. This is looking to the south, this is looking to the west. Looking to the east. A tractor doing stuff. Let's look into that for a moment, shall we? A lot of construction. They did. Thanks, Rick. I thought I could remember something like that, but then again, a lot of memories tend to get a bit vague. So, was it just wishful thinking, or was it actually true back then? We have a coot. It is, I think, just about the only airplane, the only bird in the water. Well, we've seen a few German Airways, Embraer 190s already. We haven't seen Chucky yet. No stream is complete without having seen Chucky. But will we still see it? That's the big question. I haven't checked, so I don't know for sure. We are getting a German butt shot. Ah, so it was towing a spray unit. I already thought it was that, but I thought to myself, let's not say that out loud because it's going to sound silly with the wind, but okay. Freaky accident with an F-28 in Moerdijk. Okay. Wow. All kinds of inland flights that we used to have back in the day. Global warming was not a thing. So in Dutch we say, vroeger was alles beter. In the past everything was better. It literally means. Wouldn't that have been nice, instead of taking the train for a 2-hour train ride or something from Amsterdam to Maastricht, that you take the airplane? Hey, thanks for the update, Jippe. Jippe says runway 27 seems to have closed again. Looking at flight radar, definitely not seeing any traffic going there anymore, so that's good news. That's definitely good news, because if they close the runway just now, if they've closed it just now, that means it might still be closed, or at least a secondary runway for arrivals might still be closed when the A380 arrives. Unless they're only going to keep the Polderbaan open as the single runway for arrivals for an hour, but yeah, well, let's not jump to conclusions prematurely, but it is a day that is a bit different than other days in terms of wind and runway usage, as you guys can tell, so who knows. Obviously, I'm crossing my fingers. It would be terrific to see 4, I think there are still 4, right? 747s expected before or around the time the A380 arrives. The A380 arriving in an hour and 10 minutes or so. Benny says Queen is coming. Please elaborate. I'm not seeing it on flight radar in the vicinity just yet. I do see that Icelandair is sending over a 767 today, so we are going to see the 767-300ER in the old classic blue and orange livery. Let me see if I can update the ticker. Runway 27 no longer in use. That is good news. The METAR is also up for an update. Let's do that after this airplane has landed, or whenever there's time for it. Hey, Jin Cathay Spadar also present. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Okay. Well, Rick, yesterday, and I think it was also the day before yesterday, Icelandair sent their airplanes so much back to back that they even landed nearly back to back. I think there was 1 or 2 airplanes in between. 2 Maxes and a Pencil and a Max. Really odd why they would do that. If they also have, well, maybe they didn't have access to the 767, why not send just one fully loaded 767 and be done with it? If anybody knows more as to why Icelandair is sending 2 airplanes so quickly behind each other to Amsterdam, I'm all ears, and I'm sure a lot of other people in the chat are as well. Okay, the next airplane is still a bit further out. I think that gives me enough time to do an update of the METAR. interestingly enough, the wind has increased even further to 20 knots now. As this 737 arrives from Bergen. Right. Looking up, there's a contrail. Let's see. Just behind the cloud. He's going to reappear. The cloud moving quite quickly out of the way. Twin jets flying to the northwest, already northwest of me. Not much going on in the sky in my vicinity at the moment. You can see it's not fully unobstructed. You can also see some of the departures from runway 24. This would be a 777-200 going back to Toronto from KLM. And thank you, Alan. Dubai to Newcastle 777 is what we saw just now. Right, let's turn back the camera to the north because the Icelandair 767 is approaching. There it is. Yesterday we saw the pencil, or was it the day before yesterday? Meanwhile, Schiphol Handhaving en Toezicht. Another authority patrol vehicle, one that we haven't seen before, I think. Police, marechaussee, military police, I think, is what would be an accurate description of the word marechaussee. Those we have seen quite regularly, we see quite regularly. This one I think was a new vehicle. Icelandair 500 arriving from Reykjavik. 767-300 ER. Flight time 2 hours and 20 minutes. So looks like they had a little tailwind, normally around 2.5 hours. Hey, did they give this airplane a paint job, or was that blue always so low? Now I'm beginning to wonder, didn't they always have more blue on the bottom part of the fuselage? Right, that is probably just me. Hey there, Jack in Canada, tuning in from Southern Ontario. Good morning to you. And it's just turned afternoon over here in mainland Europe. Now, the next airplane to arrive in the north is going to be a Vueling arrival from Alicante. Not sure if we are able to see it, but let's have a look, see if we can see it from turning final from the left, from the west. Probably need to be zoomed in fully. I also need to scan a little bit because I don't know exactly . That is too far to the right, probably. Let me just have a look on the big screen of my laptop, see what you guys are seeing. No, I'm not seeing it. Frank is updating us that the A380 from Emirates is passing the Czech-German border, and Luke is informing us that in 7 minutes we are expecting a 747 from Icelandair. Excellent. And Benny says that the blur is the same as on the picture, so that's just my imagination running wild. Well, we did see the special livery pencil yesterday or the day before yesterday, and that is of course more blue than standard old livery is, so maybe I got confused having that in my mind. The next airplane, Vueling, arriving from Alicante, A320, crabbing its way over here, flight 1377, flight time 2 hours and 11 minutes. It is 8 years old, first flight was in March 2015. Looks like the MAX 8 will be number 2 and the Icelandair is going to be number 3. Now the triple going to Toronto should be flying west of me over sea, but it is already far away. It is also already at 10 plus K feet. 10k plus feet, I should say. Not being able to see that, unfortunately. .20 wind, ladies and gentlemen. Now it is blowing from the southwest. But look at that. Look at the work the pilots need to do. Pretty sure they're enjoying it. Not sure if all the passengers are, but I think most of the pilots are having a great field day today. Enjoying putting their practice to use. And what is on the front end of the fuselage? Not sure what that is. In the meantime, Luke, thank you so much for just becoming a member. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, buddy. All the special emojis are now at your disposal. If there hadn't been any wind here today, it would have been a lovely day to be sitting in the sun, reading a book. Now, if you try reading a book right now, all your pages would get blown over. Same issue I'm having with the camera. You want to keep it to the right, it's moving to the left, and vice versa. In the meantime, thank you so much, Tiger74, for gifting 5 AMS Live memberships. Another 5 new members. I think that has unlocked another emoji. So, looks like I have some homework to do when I come home after the stream today. Thank you so much, Tiger74. Very generous of you. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, those new 5 members. And Colin says 227 seems to be open again. Han also confirming. Well, I'm already at the laptop, so okay. Arrivals 27. It was to be expected. with the wind right now. So we are lucky then that the Queen is coming this way. Hey, ciao Luca, come stai? Benvenuto. Tuning in from Sucatemelo, which I probably mispronounced. The south of Italy. Well, Michael, it's like aviation in general. It never stops. So homework, it is looking like it's going to be. Sandy, welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for your support. Welcome to the channel, or at least welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, I should say. Meanwhile, the next airplane getting closer by. Max 8 from Icelandair up first. Queen is second. Can we see them both already? Let's have a look. Why, yes we do. Hey Klaas, goedemiddag. Hi. Luca has been watching every day. Mervolioso. Glad you like the show. We don't have many viewers from Italy, or at least not vocal members or viewers in the chat. If you are new to the channel and you do want to say hi, don't be afraid to do so. As you probably have noticed by now, friendly folk over here. Also, if you have a question, shoot. Me, I don't have a lot of knowledge about everything, but we do have very knowledgeable people when it comes to aviation over here in the live chat. So don't be afraid to ask any questions. Or just say hi. If you feel so, don't feel you need to. Hey Marjout. Welcome back, tuning in from Helsinki, Alex. Servus, tuning in from Vienna. Alrighty, here she is. Atlas Air, flight 564, Boeing 747-400 freighter. 747-46NF it says here. Arriving from Almaty. Flight time 7 hours and 42 minutes. The airplane is 22 years old. Her first flight November 2000. Landing, very smooth, and Luke is already giving us a heads up. In 13 minutes the 777 Orange Pride, the PHBVA, will be arriving. If I recall correctly, it was coming from the west, so we should see it on the Polderbaan. Ricardo has to go again. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, buddy. Thanks for tuning in, hope to see you soon. Don't get blown away if you go outside the door. Out of the door. Now folks, definitely don't forget to like the show if you're liking what you're seeing, and consider subscribing, and when you do, hit the bell icon to make sure to be updated of whenever I go live in the future. Beautiful Atlas Air. Now yesterday we saw an Atlas Air that was white and yellow. Not sure if that is the end state of the livery or if it is just in between liveries. If anybody knows, by all means chime in. A lot of the traffic now going to runway 27, it seems like. And 777 arriving from Lima also still at 7,000 feet. That does not bode well. Let me have a quick look at the runway usage app. Yeah, that's what I was fearing. The wind has increased to such a degree that it seems now that the Polderbaan has closed. Say what? Yeah. If you look on flight radar, the KLM flight from Lima still at 6,000 feet. If it were to land on Polderbaan, it would have been much lower already. So it looks like the runway is going to be closed for the time being. The question is, how long is it going to stay closed for? I already was afraid of it. When the wind is getting too hefty from the west, 27 becomes the main landing runway often. And if it gets really stormy, they can even use it dual purpose for both arrivals and for departures. Let me go behind the laptop, see what Bezoek Bos is saying. The runway, the website that also says the expected runway usage. Yeah, they're outdated. It says Polderbaan all the time, but it does born depending on the wind direction and wind strength. It could also become landing runway 27, takeoffs runways 24 and 18 left, and that is what they have chosen to do right now. So, no more traffic coming to the Polderbaan. It seems like the show is going to end prematurely. And we had such a beautiful grand finale ahead of us with all the 747s. Just checking to see. KLM Orange Pride is also, well, it is descending still at 6,000 feet, probably going to runway 27 as well. Well, and spotting the traffic to runway 27 from over here is not really that exciting. Even though my camera has decent zoom, this is what you can see from it. And we already saw what happens when the 747 lands. You quickly lose it before the actual touchdown. Well, the same goes for traffic landing on 18 center, but quite exceptional because runway 18 right, the Polderbaan, is one of two preferential runways. So this one with runway 240624, the Kaagbaan, is almost always open. Just out of curiosity, want to see what the Orange Pride is doing, or has it already been assigned to? Oh, Yorkshire already confirming it is going to runway 27. Well, in that case, there is no use sticking around for any longer than over here, because most likely this runway is going to stay closed then for an hour or so. And no, folks, you guys, most of you will probably have seen what my setup looks like. It is a bit more thorough than most other live streamers have. Setting up takes almost half an hour. also taking it down the better part of 20 minutes. So I'm not going to do the moving back and forth today. It's going to be either here or not anymore. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. And well, let's see what the wind is going to do tomorrow. I'm hoping I can see arrivals over here on Polderbaan because Yunus is coming in from Seattle on the Delta A330. So I'm expecting a Delta A330 that is going to be lit like a Christmas tree. But yeah, the forecast for the wind varied from northerly, easterly, northeasterly. So it might also be the case that tomorrow the Polderbaan is used for departures. For now, I think I am going to wrap it up. I already see on flight radar that the 777 has passed the glide slope by the Orange Pride. So yeah, these things happen. It's been a good run while it lasted. Thank you all so much for sticking around, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I have. Thanks to everybody who was so kind to donate super chats or super stickers or super likes. Or no, I keep saying super likes, but they are from Tinder, right? Okay, super chats and super stickers. Thanks to those who became a member or donated memberships. Thanks to those who sponsored through PayPal or maybe bought something in the merch store. Your support means the world to me, and I want to thank you all once again for your great support thus far. Thanks to all the moderators for once again keeping the stream a nice and cheerful place and a safe place. Looking forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then hopefully on Thursday. I am going to wrap it up. Thank you all so much again for joining. And well, if you haven't done so already, drop a like. If you haven't become a subscriber yet, consider doing so and make sure you hit the bell icon. I'm going to wrap it up. Gonna say goodbye for now. Hope to see you all soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and talk to you soon. Bye bye.